When the tsunami swept through Sri Lanka, hundreds of thousands of children were left orphaned, homeless, and without access to proper education. 2.5 years later, the charity Goal is winding up its operation in the country, leaving behind renewed optimism for the future. 62 schools have been built or refurbished, housing over 30,000 pupils. Roads and bridges swept away by the huge waves have been replaced, and the children of Sri Lanka at last have the infrastructure in place to continue their education. Thanks to the generosity of Goal's donors and sponsors and the hard work of the goalies on the ground, the remote Ampara region has been transformed. The ruins of the old schools still lie in the shadow of the state-of-the-art buildings, as do the hastily constructed graveyards where the relatives of the children are buried. Local construction companies were brought in by Goal to erect the new buildings, bringing a much-needed boost to the economy, as well as employment to those who lost their livelihoods.
We're here in the heart of the tsunami-affected coastal region of Ampara. This is probably the main region that Goal targeted in the area. And we're here at Al Jalal School, which is a completely rebuilt, tsunami-destroyed school. If you look around us here, you'll see this state-of-the-art building, which is now complete after 2 very difficult years. So this is the icing on the cake and a culmination of a lot of hard work over the last 2 years by a lot of very dedicated goalies. If you just look behind me here, you can see behind these Goal-built cemetery walls all the tsunami graves from the families, relatives and friends of the children in this school. So every day there's painful reminders, and hopefully this state-of-the-art school is helping to heal some of the wounds that the tsunami caused 2 years ago. We not only built the schools, but put in all the furniture, all the lab equipment, the science equipment, the library equipment, the books for the libraries. And behind us here again, Ross, you'll see the sports fields. So we've got badminton court, basketball court, long jump, cricket creases. So hopefully the kids here have got something that they didn't have perhaps before the tsunami. It's always been a mantra of ours to build back better. And I'm sure what they have here is probably better than what they had before the tsunami, but after all that grief, they deserve it.
The Ampara region is close to the fighting between the separatist Tamil Tigers and government troops, and goalies carry on their work amidst the violence that regularly encroaches on the towns and even up to the school gates. Goal has spent several million euros in the country, but every cent has been spent wisely.
Well, I've just been over here for the last couple of days looking at the way the money has been spent, and I can say with my hand on my heart that the money's been spent effectively, value for money, on things like education, infrastructure for the fishing industry, and water and sanitation projects.
When disasters like the tsunami strike, there's a huge surge of generosity from the worldwide community. But because of bureaucracy, the cash is often slow to get to where it's needed. Goal's founder believes it's time for a radical overhaul of how charities are organised and coordinated in the face of massive challenges like the tsunami.
What the world needs is an international logistical force, if you like, a world fire brigade. We don't have that because the world is too greedy, too selfish. It doesn't care about people caught up in these sort of disasters. So it's left to vibrant, small, willing agencies. But we're not big enough to reach everybody, and everybody's life is precious. So therefore, we're not the answer. OK, we do a good job. And as I've just said, we're proud of what we've done in Sri Lanka. But we didn't save all the lives that needed to be saved. We didn't replace all the houses that need to be replaced. All of that could have been done if that fire brigade type operation, that logistical force run perhaps by the United Nations, despite the fact that they're made a mess of so many things, but some entity like the United Nations should take control of that and ensure that this unit springs into action, a unit that has all of the equipment that would be needed in a tragedy.
Ben by the center, quick march!
In Sri Lanka, Goal has shown what can be done in a short space of time and with a limited budget. Its policy of rebuilding better than before has left the children of the country with a legacy they could only have dreamed of. But there are scars left on the Sri Lankan shore that will never heal. Boxing Day of 2004 will live long in the minds of the people who live here. Hundreds of bodies in crudely marked graves score the shoreline in this part of Sri Lanka. Small sticks, the only indicator of the thousands who died in the tsunami. Although there's little any charity can do to erase the memories of a disaster like the tsunami, organisations such as Goal can put in place an infrastructure that will help begin the healing process. The operation in Sri Lanka has now been wound down, but the work of the Goalies here will be remembered in the minds of the young people who are the future of this beleaguered country.